Good to go. All right. Boom. We're good. Cool. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. That is Fat Man Zoom. The stock market is crazy and chaotic. We made it our mission to help you guys own it. And man, Fat Man Zoom, what a day. But let's go ahead and get them off started with the starting five.
Starting five, we have Zane Khan, Baker Toon, Sean Ethier, Lexa, and Rudy Brown. You are starting five. We got a lot on the agenda. But first and foremost, we have Facebook earnings reaction, Facebook earnings today, but a lot of other good stuff going on in the market. And I think you're going to do Chaos Confessions today, aren't you?
Oh, I forgot. But yes, we can.
Okay. So yeah, guys, Facebook earnings is what it's all going to be about today.
And Tesla going the hell off.
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah.
But today we're watching Facebook earnings.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of other stuff went on in the market. Yeah, obviously Tesla all-time highs, 1K. Bold prediction knocked off. And I did a video. I don't even know if you saw it. I did a video probably like 3 weeks ago mentioning where Tesla can go, and we are here.
Shane Haley said, Tesla about to make me leave my wife. Monday confessions. But yeah, man. So lots of good stuff. I just got into Facebook on Friday. You just got into Facebook today, correct? You put it on in the short. So go check that out if you haven't checked it out yet. But yeah, man, what an absolute monster of a day if you're in Tesla for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the big news is Hertz ordered, and this has not been confirmed, but Hertz ordered 100,000 Tesla vehicles for their fleet, which is a whole new opportunity that nobody's even talked about.
Yeah.
Rental cars makes a lot of sense. The other thing is that, surprise, surprise, last September, Tesla Model 3 was the best-selling car in Europe. Not EV, best-selling passenger vehicle in Europe. I know people don't want to believe it. When Elon made the prediction that the Model Y would be the best-selling vehicle in the world,
yeah,
seems likely.
Yeah, I mean, it's just and they've been talking about this. The Model Y being the best-selling car for 2022 as well. I just wanted to pat ourselves on the back because what we said was going to happen in December of 2020 this year ended up happening today, and that was that Tesla hit $1,000 a share. That was our bold prediction. I mean, and it happened. That was pretty with a couple of months to spare. Pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, to clarify, in December we made predictions for 2021.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Did I say 2022?
No. You just said what we said would happen in December of 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Like we didn't say it was going to happen in December of 2020.
No.
Yeah. So we said by the end of this year, 1,000 would come, and it did. Although you may not want to go back because some of them we were horribly wrong. So let's be real.
On the bold predictions, we got a couple of them right.
We got a couple of them, but we got a couple of them horribly wrong.
I said Bitcoin to 50K.
You know what? I didn't see that one. I thought we talked about Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin to 50K was in that video.
Yeah.
I'll pull up the clip. It's rough.
I actually have them.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, pulling up the clip would be even funnier because we've come a long way in a year.
Yeah, next year's bold predictions are going to be very interesting. So here, December of 2020. Did Zoom enter the S&P 500?
It did not. I'm surprised it didn't, but it did not.
Amazon stock split. We still have some time for the Amazon stock split. We might find that out this week, but
the year's not over.
Yeah. Tesla million cars. We also said that as well, which we're just going to miss that. But that was a hell of a prediction.
Yeah, so close.
We were we tried to be really bold, not just easy bold.
Yeah.
Not like Apple's going to be, the biggest company in the world still or something like that.
Yeah.
We did that. Netflix, 200 million subs. I don't know how many subs Netflix has.
I think they're at like 180, 190.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. NVIDIA has greater growth than Tesla end of year. I think that's true. I think right now that stands.
From a percentage basis? Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah.
That's not even,
that's a bold ass prediction.
Yeah. So yeah, we got some ones horribly wrong, but we got some good ones in there too.
Yeah, we'll do a video recapping that when we go into the next one.
I like that.
But yeah, this next bold prediction is going to be fun. So, anyways, Tesla certainly had a lot of good news coming today. I mean, we got to ask the question: is Brad, where does it go from here?
I really don't know. In the short term, I think that there's got to be some profit taking at some point. Either that or this just stays flat. People don't sell anything and it just continues to stay where it's at. I mean, we take a look at the stock today. It's obviously up 12.5%. I would be surprised if we continue to see this thing move up. I mean, especially given the breakout we've had, but we can't be surprised by this breakout, right? I mean, we talked about this, how organized Tesla's been over the last 6 months. It's been super organized in this ascending channel, and then it breaks out. This is a perfect technical breakout. If you guys are just looking at a chart and not even looking at what kind of company this is, the movement makes sense. Obviously, there's catalysts in here that motivates the stock to go upwards, but this isn't shocking, I don't think, to necessarily say that there's a breakout of this channel and then it just continues to rip up. It's pretty amazing when you look at charts like this and you kind of have an objective view and you don't even look to see what kind of stock it is, how the movement is. Now, if we continue to remain objective on this, I would say that a movement down could be possible here, maybe to retest those levels in the low 900s.
Mm-hmm.
So if that does end up happening and this cools off, and when we look at this, the last time the RSI was this hot, I know Don Fran's going to get on me about the RSI, but the last time it was this hot was when it got close to that $900 or hit that $900 a share all-time high, the previous one, and then it cooled off for quite a long time. So I think that the reality is that we could see this sell off a little bit, settle out, and then maybe make the next leg up.
I got to remind you guys, and I believe this, you may think I'm silly, Tesla will come back. It'll give you an opportunity. It'll come back down. It'll give you an opportunity.
Always does.
It always does. And it may not feel like that right now, but it could turn quickly. Don shorted Tesla at 1K, which, man, is that a chaos confession? No, but also depending on the overall market obviously hit all-time highs. So like that's also something to consider as well. It doesn't just have to be Tesla facing a headwind. It could just be the overall market pulls back.
Yeah.
Big tech pulls back, whatever the factor is. Tesla, if there's any profit taking, it could scare people quickly. But from a long term, you still have that loyal Tesla following where they're not selling any of their shares.
Right.
So there'll be opportunities. Be careful in FOMO in this one.
Danny Alvarado just donated $50.
Thanks, brother.
To the channel. It said, made a killing with Tesla up 450% today and sold. Thanks, guys, for the work you do on the good videos. Bro, that is awesome. Thanks so much for the support. We certainly appreciate it. And good for you, man. Congrats on the amazing trade. This is unbelievable. So I'm sure that you're probably blown away. 450%. That's awesome.
Yeah. Zane Khan also trimmed Tesla a week back, but with 30% profit. Didn't expect how it would stay. That's fine. Well, you trimmed, so it sounded like you still had shares.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You still should benefit off the run. That seems responsible to me. And then if you want to get back in, if there's a pullback or add back to it, that's great. Imran has one share of Tesla. You got to start somewhere, bro.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of having one share, Mini Zoom has one share pre-split, so she has 5 shares of Tesla.
Yeah.
She is officially up 500% on her Tesla, which is nice. Just carrying her Mini Zoom account.
7 years old. She's up 500% on Tesla.
Yeah, so it's not. I can't wait till she graduates high school. How many percent is that going to be up?
That's insane.
I hope it's like 10,000%.
That'll be wild.
That would be wild.
Just Tesla bought her a new Tesla. Her first car.
I know, that'd be cool too.
Yeah.
Miguel says Tesla way overbought. RSI market sentiment all the way high. Careful buyers. Lexus says I'm not selling Tesla, but I'll buy more. I like that. I like where you guys' heads at. So definitely stay tuned. Stick around for Tesla in the coming days because we'll certainly have our good eye on that one.
Yeah.
But there's other things we have to talk about. Let's start with PayPal and Pinterest. So that deal did not go through,
right?
Or that deal was not a legitimate deal. PayPal announced that it's not happening. Pinterest subsequently fell. That was a tough break, but PayPal ran up and Pinterest got its ass handed to it today.
So did I.
Did you?
On that particular, I got smoked on Pinterest. Absolutely smoked. And I thought to myself, I should get some PayPal too because it came down.
Yeah, as a hedge.
And I did not.
Yeah.
Just because I forgot.
Yeah.
Only reason.
This happened to Zoom recently. Zoom,
With
remember?
5.9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The market didn't like the news, and it turns out that they were backing out of the deal. And so Zoom initially on the news that they were Zoom was acquiring 5.9, the stock went down, and then on the news that the deal wasn't going through, the stock went up. But you never know. I mean, you never really know.
You don't.
I understand why you got into it because you had the $70 share. I mean, if it went through, you would have been happy. It's just one of those things you take the risk and it just didn't play in your favor.
Yeah, fortunately, I didn't like go crazy on it. It was, I don't want to say it was a YOLO trade or anything like that, but it was a trade that I knew the risk going into it. And so got the hand that was dealt.
Yeah. Speaking of the financials and well, let me not move forward yet. What do you think about Pinterest?
I still think this is a good buying opportunity for Pinterest. The fact that it reacted this way seems kind of nuts.
Yeah.
It also reacted based off of Snap's earnings, which I think also is nuts considering that Pinterest doesn't really have a whole lot of exposure as far as like, Apple's concerned. Not as much as Snap would.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last night in Stockwatch Sunday. Between them and Twitter having the reactions that they did, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I think both of them are pretty good opportunities.
Yeah, Michael Hanna said Pins is a great buy. I loaded some on the dips.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have earnings probably in the next week or two, right?
Next week, yeah.
Okay. So that'll be one to really keep an eye on because if they outperform, they could have some huge upside and you could be handsomely rewarded off that. Again, you're dropping because of Snapchat and you're dropping because of something that didn't go through. Certainly feels like an overreaction. Certainly feels like a great opportunity. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Mad Dick says if they miss earnings next week, it'll get slaughtered. I'm not sure, honestly.
I mean, it could be that the price is already baked in at this point.
Like the expectation is that it's going to get.
Look what happened to Sam.
Earnings.
Sam, the Boston Beer Company, same thing, right? They came out with earnings that weren't really all that great. But because the stock was already beaten down so bad, it actually ended up getting bought up because it was like, oh,
yeah,
it wasn't quite as bad as we thought it was, even though it was still bad.
Yeah, for sure. Another financial company, we haven't talked about this, but Mastercard getting into the crypto game.
Yeah.
So they are going to offer crypto to all of their merchants. And it's through the company, I think it's like BKKT or something like that, which went off.
Yes.
I mean, they went up, but they were up like 80% when I saw. But
I actually just saw Savvy Money Show got into BKKT.
Is that the ticker? I would just guess.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
And he's killing it. I saw a couple other folks within the Chaos Crew as well. They crushed it today on that one.
Yeah. So, but we've talked about this as far as Mastercard, Visa, American Express is concerned, like the movement of financial industries, buy now, pay later, crypto, all those things. Look for Visa to make some waves as well. So, yeah, go ahead.
BKKT is up 200% today.
That's wild.
On that news.
Wow. Zane Khan got it at $15, almost doubled your money.
Holy shit.
Great work.
Hope you got some free shares. That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I would be getting into free shares.
Yeah.
I know we want to think it's going to run forever, but just having the peace of mind of free shares and just letting that roll, I think we'll see.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I saw everybody going nuts on it. I didn't quite see the price of this thing, but look at this. It skipped dollars in the middle of the day when it gapped up there, just in the middle of the day out of nowhere. That's wild. But MasterCard's actually having a halfway decent day today too, in response to that. So all good things there.
Yeah. So I'm saying it here. Watch out for Visa. Visa has to make a move in this space, has to use some capital, and I'm sure they will. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I have a stop on my American Express, hasn't tripped yet. But when that does, I'm going to go ahead and flip that over to Visa because I feel really good about that from a long-term perspective. Damn, Michael Hanna is up 800% on my call option for BKKY. Is that right?
Yeah.
BKKT.
BKKT.
I'm selling before close. Good. Stick to it.
That is wild, bro.
Yeah.
What a trade, man.
Yeah. All that good stuff has been happening. Sorry, as I pull through, go ahead and just chat for a second. I need to pull up my other stuff.
Speaking of Michael Hanna and crypto, That brother donated Bitcoin to me.
Nice.
My first crypto buy in Bitcoin is by way of Michael Hanna. So shout out Michael Hanna. He donated to the cause. We certainly appreciate all of anybody who decides to donate to the platform, the channel. And bro, just a shout out. Just wanted to say thanks. It's in there now.
Mhm.
So I have some Bitcoin. It's pretty awesome. Appreciate it, bro. That was really generous.
The one thing I wanted to mention about Tesla is they officially hit $1 trillion market cap.
Yes. And that was before it hit $1,000 a share.
Yeah. So that's interesting. And I think we talked about who would be the next to $1 trillion market cap.
Yeah.
But that's a big landmark for them. I expect to see more analyst upgrades. Just a side note. We haven't officially, you and I have not officially talked about DWAC.
I know. I've been avoiding this topic. What you got?
No, I just want to give general overall sentiment on it. Obviously, it's just been absolutely on fire. And you know, I'm going to get you in trouble.
I know.
You said it could be the next Nikola 2.0. But I think I don't want to run away from this topic because I think it's an interesting topic to look at. And, maybe a couple of people get kicked off the channel today. But I'm hoping something like this is just so important to talk about. I don't want to shy away from the topic.
I agree. So here's the thing about it. Right now, DWAC, if you guys don't know, it's, the Donald Trump social media platform is going to go public via SPAC, which is DWAC. And the stock went crazy. Went up 800% on Friday. Then had on Thursday. Then had another crazy day on Friday where it ran all the way up to $175 a share. I want to say somewhere around there, and then halved by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then today it's still struggling. Actually had a pretty decent move. It was up 20% at one point today, but now down another 7%. We take a look at the chart, and you can kind of see the movement on this. And this is what we're going to see. So my thoughts and my sentiments on this. I told some folks quietly that this kind of felt like a Nikola type of deal, right? Where people are buying a SPAC up on a concept, and that's what Nikola was. And the concept didn't follow through. And then you see where Nikola is. I'm not saying that DWC is going to suffer the same fate. I just said that's just kind of what it feels like right now. Everybody's buying this off of an idea and not necessarily a proven product. And you compare it to something like a company that went public via SPAC, like a SoFi, for example. It's a company, they're already established, you know what they do, they have value, so that's why you buy it. Where something like this doesn't have any of those things, it's just an idea. But we've seen this before. AMC is a good example of this, where people bought AMC based off of a belief that they wanted to stick it to the man, and that's why they're not selling, and that's why the apes were created, and or I guess evolved out of that, no pun intended. But you look at something like this, and this kind of has that same feeling. I don't think that we're going to see very many sellers out of DWAC. True. I just don't. I think that they're going to buy into that same type of belief system, that same type of hype, until at some point they stop believing in that this is going to come to fruition. We're already seeing some controversy surrounding around the ethics that are going to go into building this thing. The other thing is that the headwinds that this company is going to have, this platform is going to have, is that I doubt that Apple's going to support it on their platform, and I doubt that we're going to see it be readily available, especially when it comes to its app form on Google Play, all that stuff. So there's a lot here to unpackage, and there's a lot of volatility, but I still think that you have such a large group of people that are buying into the belief that this is going to be something that sticks around. And I think that's why I wouldn't surprise me to see DWAC go crazy from here.
Yeah. So a couple things to know, and you have to, a stock like this, you have to set your emotions aside and just look at the factors at play. I agree. There's going to be a huge contingency that does not sell this stock, and that you got to keep that in mind. That's a reality. It doesn't matter where you sit with how you feel about Trump. Think about the reverse merger, though. I think reverse merger date, because this hasn't gone through.
Right.
This has just been the target for acquisition for the reverse merger. There has to be a vote on it. I would imagine it goes through, but this is anybody's guess. However, we may see a little bit of uncertainty going into that vote. But I think if that vote goes through, normally we don't see a ton of movement, but I think we see a major push because I think there's going to be a ton of media coverage. I think there's going to be a ton of excitement, a ton of hype. So for the short term, I'm actually very bullish on DWAC. I don't think, who cares about fundamentals? Like, it just doesn't matter. There's no revenue.
Right.
But you got social media, which is exciting. You've got Trump, although polarizing, he has an incredibly loyal following.
Yeah.
You got sort of the meme stock hype around it. All those things bode well for this moving forward into their first earnings. And even the first earnings doesn't matter because they don't even need a product, because they're like, hey, they just say, hey, we're close or whatever. It doesn't matter.
There won't be a product by then.
Where it suffers long term is, and you guys can disagree with me, but long term where it suffers is there won't be institutional support behind this.
Yeah.
There just won't, because nobody's going to want to face that from an institutional perspective, that backlash.
Yeah.
And so I worry about that support long term. And so there's only so many people that get excited, that are going to buy this up, get excited about it. And if you have that lack of institutional investing, it's just going to be an uphill battle when you think about the long term. But for the short term, it's a buy for me.
That point that you made is exactly what I'm saying. What Chris Alvarez just said. So you're agreeing that Apple and Google really are politically motivated. I don't know if it's necessarily politically motivated. I think it's more like,
no.
I think it's more like, what is the general public saying? It's not like, if, and why Twitter, kicked Trump off of Twitter, kicked Trump off of Twitter in the first place. For other reasons outside of politics, there was all kinds of nasty things that he said about Twitter leading up to the event that happened on January 6th. And again, I don't want to get into politics, but I think that Apple and Google both have a reputation to uphold. And if that gets tainted in any way because they're supporting something that, the general public doesn't necessarily agree with, especially when it comes to misinformation and stuff like that. And we are getting into the weeds here, but I think that's just a real possibility.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's what you have to focus on, figure out. And that's where a lot of people are going to have trouble on both sides of this, really managing their emotions, because who gives a shit if Google and Apple are motivated? It's a speculation.
Yeah.
And if you don't, like, who cares? Right. What does it look like will happen? And so that's where you got to just like remove the emotion and just look at it and try to factor in and try to make the best decision you can. And I could be wrong. You could be wrong.
Yeah.
But the reality is like, we're not looking through it through our lens of like, okay, what do we feel politically? We're looking through it and like, what are like macro trends? What are habits, right?
What's possible?
And we're looking at other people. We're not looking at ourselves.
Right.
Just like you, if you're a Google Android guy. It's like you being like, hell no, Apple, I'm not buying Apple, like Apple stock, because I don't own it. Like, you'll never buy an Apple product, but it's not like you're like, I'll never invest in Apple. You just look at it and you're like, well, a hell of a lot of people like Apple. I'm looking at the company and what it does, and I'm interested in it. You're removing yourself from your bias and just saying, okay, let me look at that. Your ability to look at that is going to help you whichever way this thing goes. And I do think that this thing is going to stay moving. And after the reverse merger, if that does get approved, watch out, because I think this thing still has a lot of legs and will reach all-time highs.
I'll use my Apple profits to buy my next Android phone.
There you go.
All right. So good discussion there. I like it.
Let's do Facebook.
Facebook. Yes. We're about 5 minutes from the close. Facebook has earnings today, the moment you guys have all been waiting for. And it's actually having a pretty decent day. It's up $329 a share. I have calls on this that expire at the end of the week. You have leaps on this, correct?
Yes, sir.
So Fat Man Zoom's got a bit of a longer term approach, which I think is also a good call there. Facebook right now is doing, like I said, pretty well. It's up 1.5% leading in the earnings. I think we obviously saw the move down from Snap's earnings and the reaction there. We both said that I think it's a little bit of an overreaction as far as that's concerned. But if we break this out to the daily, I think this is also a really good opportunity from a technical standpoint. If it holds this 200-day moving average, I think we're in good shape on Facebook. And you and I are both going to be happy. It's at $319.90. So let's just call it $320. So if it stays above 320, I think we're both going to be happy. But I would be surprised if Facebook came in and gave us any kind of negative numbers. Um, Obviously, it's certainly possible, but with the way that this has continued to come down from highs of $384, it's down what 15% from its highs.
Yep.
So, really good opportunity. Even if you take a small chance on this, it's good risk reward. But if you don't, obviously, waiting till after earnings is of course the safe play. But I'm willing to take on a little bit of risk here.
Yeah, I believe that Facebook tempered expectations for this earnings. I think they set the bar low on this. Typically, they outperform this quarter compared to last quarter. Their earnings per share are $3.19 a share. Last quarter, they came in at $3.61. I feel like they're gonna beat handily, and so not that that's gonna matter too much. But I think revenue per user. And also, I think this question around Facebook, we talked about Facebook name change yesterday, and we don't need to rehash that. But one thing I wanted to mention as well is there's reports that from the whistleblower, like there was reports about Facebook internally having discussion surrounding young adults not adopting later at an average age, or not adopting at all, user usage down. And I'm reading this article and I'm like, I could have told you that.
Right.
Like that's not, who cares? Like people are making a big deal of this, Brad, and maybe I'm just missing this point, but like, does it surprise anybody that Facebook usage is down?
Right. No.
Isn't that why they bought, Instagram? And that's why they're looking at the metaverse. So I just think this is kind of much ado about nothing. So I expect a great earnings. I think the key that other people are going to look at is the issue you spoke about. I mean, obviously ad revenue, but the issue you spoke about regarding Apple privacy and how much that has impacted them. And as long as they're not as bearish as Snap was, I think we should be good, and I anticipate that happening.
I don't think they're going to be as bearish as Snap was, and maybe we get surprised by that, but I don't see them being as impacted as Snap was because they have so many other streams of revenue. Like, yes, does it impact them? Maybe a little, but think about this. Remember when there was some controversy with Facebook about a year and a half ago, and there was a lot of companies boycotting them?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about multi-billion-dollar companies that they were no longer getting money from for a short period of time or whatever. And Facebook came in and crushed it. They crushed earnings like nobody cared from an investing standpoint. So I think that there's definitely that element too. Is it's like every time we're worried about what Facebook might do or how this is going to be the dagger for Facebook, it ends up being a nothing burger. And I think that this could very much be that.
Yeah, I'd agree. And Ivan Broski said the Facebook P was just so low and their margins are crazy. Couldn't agree more. 25 under 25 PE, forward PE of 20.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stupid. Now, I'll tell you what, Don Fran, correct me if I'm wrong, friend, but this feels like a great wheel strategy opportunity. I mean, if you're worried about this dropping, like this is already in buy levels, in my opinion. But if you're worried about dropping, the first part of the wheel strategy is selling a put. Sell a put. If it fills, you get it at a better price. If it doesn't, it is what it is, but you get it at a better price, and then you could start collecting premiums from there. But this feels like a phenomenal wheel strategy opportunity. I just feel too optimistic about it moving forward that I wanted to get in it. But if it does sell off, I'm gonna pull the wheel strategy against it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Don says if you have the capital, do it. I love it.
But yeah, being prepared for these type of opportunities. Sitting at a 200-day moving average is a great indicator. Also, we've seen like overblown reaction based on another company that is like, I mean, Snapchat and Facebook aren't even in the same stratosphere. Maybe you can say Snapchat and Twitter because of just kind of like how they're operating, but Facebook is running on all cylinders, and they've moved. I mean, digital ad revenue, they're already realizing like we need to diversify. And so they have a lot of things going on that we're excited about, could potentially hear new things, bring up other things as far as that's concerned. I would love, and this is kind of lost in the mix, Brad. I would love to hear more about this crypto, right? The crypto wallet, remember?
Yeah.
That news just came out.
Yep.
Could we hear any news about DM, their cryptocurrency? But I think that's going to be the kind of catalyst. If you can if you can meet expectations or beat expectations on ad revenue, you start talking about crypto, get people excited. People are just forgetting all that because they're so caught up in Snapchat and this whistleblower.
Yeah. Well, that and the rebranding too, to think about.
Yeah.
There's that
Yeah.
side of it as well, which we kind of touched on last night in Stockwatch Sunday. Some really exciting stuff. I think there's a lot to look forward to here as these earnings come out, and of course, we'll get them to you as soon as they do. Right now, Facebook closed the day up 1.25%. It's flat right now after hours, so interesting movement there, but pretty typical for most stocks that are on earnings day. I'm looking at the live stream here, and I see a lot of you guys hanging out. We got about 195 of you watching this afternoon, so certainly appreciate that. But only 34 likes, which is kind of on the weak side, if I'm honest. I think we should easily get to 100 likes today. So if you could hit the thumbs up, we certainly would appreciate the support. Get our name pushed out there a little bit more into the YouTube world, and we would appreciate it if you guys are liking the stream so far.
Yeah, just to set everybody up as we go to check out the reaction and look at the chart. Earnings per share estimates 319. Revenue expectations are 29.52 billion. And last quarter, they came in at 29.08 billion. So slightly above that. Definitely keep an eye on it. So 29.52 billion. I think that's going to be the more important number because it'll certainly beat earnings per share, I would imagine.
Yeah. So it looks like earnings numbers may be out just based off of some of the movement here, but we'll let you guys know as soon as we have them. Right now, it's trading down a little bit, about 0.5%, and kind of all over the place. You guys are looking at the 1 minute chart, so you're going to see some pretty erratic movement. But it doesn't look like a whole lot of volume here just yet on Facebook.
Yeah, nothing has come out yet.
Yeah, so it's just a little bit all over the place. Pretty typical pre-earnings trading so far. So it doesn't look like numbers are out just yet.
I'm just curious, those in the Chaos Crew, those in the chat, are you in it? What are you in? Are you in options? You in shares? What's your average price? Let us know what you think.
Yeah. Let's see here. Housekeeping says I'm in Tesla with 5 shares at 646.69. Hell yeah, bro.
Brother. Good job.
Nicely done. We talked about Tesla earlier this afternoon. What a day for Tesla. Just unbelievable. So congrats on those. Claudia's in Facebook calls. Damn. Says C-Buck says this is an after hours move on our baby. Gonna be 6. I said I saw 50% of my calls at 5,000%. Jesus. That's awesome, man. What a trade on that too. A lot of people tuning in here.
Yeah, and while we wait, guys, those of you new to Own the Chaos, we're live every Monday through Thursday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So this week, big tech earnings. Tune in every day because every day we have really good earnings.
Yeah.
So make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification bell, so you're notified when we go live. But we got really good earnings this week. This is just the beginning.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's our favorite time of the year. Earnings season is so awesome. And so right now, Facebook has kind of been flat, a little bit of an erratic movement here and there, but nothing to be too concerned about just yet as we await those earnings. Can you hit them up with the expected earnings per share again?
What's up, Amar? Yeah, so the expected earnings per share was $3.19 a share, and revenue is $29.52 billion. Those are the numbers that we're looking out for. Last quarter, they beat handily. Earnings per share came in at $3.61, so this is lower than last quarter, and revenue came in at $29.08 billion. So the question is, what do you think it's done from this last quarter to this quarter? Do you think it's going to outperform, or do you think it's just kind of in line?
Just my own expectations. I would be surprised if we didn't see a move up. I mean, we've been hearing from small businesses and how there's been so many of them reopening and new ones being built. And now it looks like we do have some numbers out for a test or Facebook, given the movement here. I could be wrong here, but this looks like the numbers are officially out right now. Facebook is down 3.5%, working on 4% here. And as soon as we have those numbers, we'll certainly give those to you. But I would still be surprised that we didn't see some growth out of Facebook just from a small business standpoint. That's their bread and butter. But as these numbers come out, obviously we'll give them to you. Facebook continuing to fall here, now down another 3%. Not another 3%. It's down 3% from today's close. 317. Now remember, I mentioned it at the top of the hour that
looks like 322 earnings per share. It should come through in a second.
Okay, Arfam's got them up too.
Yeah, here we go. Earnings per share. So they beat on. So it looks like they beat on earnings per share, missed on revenue. So earnings per share came in at 322, 319 we said was the estimate, and revenue came in at 20. Did it come in at 29.01 billion? 29.01 billion. So they missed on revenue.
Yep. So there you go. Thanks, Arfin. Appreciate that. And yeah, so interesting. Be curious to see what their guidance looks like. So they came in and beat earnings per share, but missed on revenue as it looks like it's starting to move its way back up.
And as a reminder, 29.08 billion was last quarter, which was slightly down. Historically, this quarter outperforms last, so that doesn't bode well for it. But there's so many other things they could talk about that could play a factor into how the stock moves.
That's right. Just because they miss on a particular metric doesn't necessarily mean the stock goes down or goes up, for that matter. We've seen earnings come out and they do really well, and then the stock actually ends up selling off, and vice versa happens. So actually, Facebook just went from red to green here and is actually looking like it's continuing to climb.
I got something else for you.
What you got?
Facebook Q3 monthly active users up 2.91 billion, which was in line with what they said. And CNBC just sent out an article. Let me just pull this up really quickly. All right. So we have daily active users, 1.93 billion. Monthly active users, 2.93 billion. Expected average revenue per user. Expected is 1015. It hasn't come in yet. So that'll be a key number to look at.
Okay. I'm looking like Matt Dix has mentioned here, our outlook reflects the significant uncertainty we face in the fourth quarter in light of continued headwinds from Apple. So they did mention Apple and their iOS 14 changes and macroeconomic COVID factors. Yeah. So interestingly enough, Facebook ended up turning green just now and continuing to climb here, now up to 333 and climbing, trying to understand what the motivation is here behind the buying. If we get anything, we'll certainly share that with you, but this is very interesting. So guidance wasn't necessarily all that great either from what I'm understanding from some of our commenters.
Yeah.
But Facebook is continuing to climb here, now up 2.5%. What a wild move right after earnings released. So if you guys are just tuning in, Facebook beat earnings but missed slightly on revenue, and the guidance wasn't necessarily all that great. We saw an immediate sell-off in reaction to that, but we then saw the stock turn green here. Now,
we got a share buyback announced.
Oh, there we go.
Facebook announces a $50 billion share buyback.
The great equalizer. Hey, guys, we're going to have a shitty quarter. Let's buy some stock. Holy shit. All right. Well, hey, you know what? I'll take it. And so now we're seeing Facebook continuing to move up. It's now up 338 per share and climbing. It's up 3%. I'll take it. Give it to me. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Zuck. You bad son of a bitch robot. You.
Appreciate it, buddy.
You're either a robot or a pedophile. You look like either one.
I know. Like, how do you have that much money and that's the haircut you give yourself?
The perfect thing is, and I was talking to my boys about this. We were talking about a man meal, bro. Mark Zuckerberg is the exact person that turns into a pedophile or kills his neighbors, and then they show the picture and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But nobody says that. Like, you look at Zuck, I mean, the dude looks like
an alien.
Yeah, like it's just everybody says Elon's a robot. No, Zuck, like that dude is either. Yeah, I already said it, but
maybe they're both aliens. They're just from different planets.
Yeah. Elon's from the cool planet.
Yeah,
Zuck's weird. Give me a new CEO.
If you guys are just tuning in, we got 280 of you guys hanging out, so we appreciate you spending your time with us. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, I said that it shouldn't be a problem for us to get to 100 likes, and we're 5 away from that. So let's just go ahead and just knock that out of the park. If you wouldn't mind hitting that blue thumbs up button, we certainly would appreciate it. But if you are just tuning in, and you're new, first of all, comment in the chat. We want to see if there's anybody who is new, has never been to the channel before. We certainly would appreciate that too. But Facebook came in, beat earnings, missed revenue, didn't give great guidance, and then decides to say, hey, you know what? We know this is not going to be good. Let's go out and buy back some shares. So how many shares? What's the buyback again?
50 billion.
50 billion in share buybacks. and that's why you're seeing the stock now react the way that it is. It's still green. It was up as much as 3.5% now, only up around 1.25. We'll see if this holds, but interesting stuff. This is why we always say that earnings are a crapshoot. But hey, risk reward here was certainly looking good for Facebook, and so far it's looking like it might be paying off.
I'm convinced we have the funniest community, and so I have this question for you guys. I think you're gonna have fun with this one.
What's up?
Mark Zuckerberg looks like ... Tell me what it is.
I like that.
I'm sure you guys have good. To me, pedophile. Looks like a pedophile.
Mark Zuckerberg looks like blank.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Facebook not beating consensus is rare. It is very rare. Any of the things that don't beat consensus is rare, and we actually saw that from Amazon last quarter. So it'll be interesting to see how Amazon reacts this quarter as well. But you know what? You bring up a good point. Who mentioned that? Ralph Vandenhoek. So you bring up a good point as far as that's concerned. But I think the reason that we're starting to see some of these misses, and granted, Facebook's expectations were lowered this quarter compared to last, but the expectations have been so high over the last 18 months because of COVID, and they've just been crushing it. And so not surprising to see this, falter a little bit, but nevertheless, Facebook still beat earnings per share.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm wondering what else they talked about on this call. There's so much more
in the report. You mean?
Yeah, sorry, in the report and what they'll have on the call later.
Yeah,
this afternoon.
Yeah, right now, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster here for Facebook. I mean, it sold off immediately on the reaction to earnings, and then it continued to climb. Obviously, as people digested the share buyback, and is now coming back down and ending flat, or not ending flat, but at least coming back to flat. It's now only up around 0.5%, so it's been all over the place here so far. But hey,
all right, so far we got a couple good ones.
What you got?
Nate, funny pranks gone wrong. Mark Zuckerberg looks like a robot. Agreed. Lexa, Mark Zuckerberg looks like bug eyes. Alien robot. Snookeroo says Mark Zuckerberg looks like Dookie Dookie. Jeff Panika said Mark Zuckerberg looks like a horse's ass.
Jeff Chow, J Chocolate says 100% looks like Roger Smith from American Dad.
I don't know if I know who that is.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. He also looks like that guy on oh yeah, he's that creepy dude on Family Guy too.
Science experiment gone wrong. Like he saw a ghost. Oh man. Looks like a lizard with them bulging eyes.
Camilo says Facebook announced 10,000 new employees to work on the metaverse.
Ooh. Yeah, that was recent. That was already announced.
Okay. So it looks like they just snuck it in there too.
I think it was just a question.
Oh, he asked if it was a big deal. Okay. I got the context now. I think it's a big deal. I mean, it's not like Facebook doesn't have the cash to do it.
Yeah.
Danny Alvarado, good question. Do you expect Google to miss or Alphabet to miss since Snap and Facebook both did? I don't know. What do you think?
Sorry, repeat that question again.
Do we think that Google is going to have poor earnings based off of what we're seeing from Snap and Facebook so far?
I don't think poor earnings, but I think that they benefit because a lot of their ad revenue comes from SEO.
Yeah.
And so people actively searching for things. So I think it's a little bit different. So yeah. I'm not as worried about that.
I'm actually excited for Twitter tomorrow. Twitter has earnings tomorrow after hours, which obviously we'll be giving our reaction to. And it's interesting to see how Facebook and Snap both mentioned the issues that they're dealing with as far as Apple's concerned, whereas Twitter doesn't necessarily have to worry about any of that.
Veronica got heard about. Apparently, we got a Mark Zuckerberg lover.
Ooh.
Says, honestly, I'll never see another video of you because you're both so arrogant. I'm full of shit. I think there's a typo. She called herself full of shit.
Hold on. We got to show that now.
I think and full of shit is what she meant. Calling Mark Zuckerberg pedophile is not going to make you a big of a man. Disgusting. You disgust me. I'm sorry. He looks like a pedophile. Are you kidding me? Come on.
How does he not look like one?
And why are you so hung up on like one of the richest people in the world?
Yeah,
He'll be fine. He's not worried about what Fat Man Zoom's saying about him.
His feelings are not going to be hurt.
He's gonna. I honestly, if he saw that clip, I'd be like, oh, yeah. I mean, I kind of do.
I see it.
I need a new haircut.
Yep.
Veronica getting saucy. Sorry, Fran.
You know, yeah. If you're coming to this channel, if you're new to this channel and you were expecting a CNBC type broadcast, I'd hate to break it to you. This is not it.
I'm full of shit. It kind of loses all of its energy when you're trying to talk trash and then you call yourself full of shit.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Facebook will be revolutionary with new way of social media marketplace on AR metaverse. Absolutely. Facebook glasses, like that. I just like how they're going all in on something. I'd like how they're taking a chance. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh man. Don bought Google today. Yeah, Google's solid. Now, the one thing I am a little bit concerned about with Google is we've seen YouTube has been struggling. Like we've experienced the struggles of Google, of YouTube. So I'm wondering how that comes in.
Yeah.
But I don't think they break that out from the revenue breakdown. So that kind of helps it a little bit. But I'm sure they're going to talk about the traffic in YouTube.
Yeah.
So that worries me more than anything.
Yeah. So we're looking at Facebook starting to curl back up here now. It's up closer to 2% after hours. You guys, we talked about, for those of you coming in, maybe missed some of those, the earnings results. So Facebook came in, they actually beat earnings, but they missed on revenue, made some mentions of Apple being kind of a headwind for them as far as growth is concerned and the impact there, which we already kind of knew about, especially with Snap's earnings last week. We kind of mentioned that this might be a theme going on with some of the other social media platforms. It doesn't seem as though that Facebook is necessarily as impacted. And we mentioned that before earnings today on today's show, that we thought that that wouldn't be as much of a factor. Facebook comes in and is like, it's going to be a shitty quarter. So then they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and just buy $50 million of stock and make everybody happy. And that's exactly what's going on here. So that's why we saw the sell-off and then an immediate buying return here. Now Facebook's up 2%. So I think this actually bodes well for Facebook tomorrow. I think that we'll actually see it continue to climb because of that buyback. It's kind of going to save their quarter, I think.
Who do you think looks creepier? I think this is actually an easy answer. Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Ma?
Or Jack Ma? I thought you were going to say something like, I don't know, Jeff Bezos. But who looks creepier? Oh, it's definitely Zuck.
Really?
Yeah.
Jack Ma looks kind of creepy.
He's a little bit of...
I love Jack Ma.
He's a little bit of a robot, I guess.
Yeah, he's
if you're
an interesting cat. That's for sure.
If you're a CEO of any of the most powerful companies in the world, you kind of have to be a robot. It's kind of like a prerequisite.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you imagine anybody like you or me running a company like that?
No.
We'd be a damn mess.
The thing about Jeff Chow says Jack Ma looks creepy. The thing about Facebook buyback shares, it's interesting timing because they had the whistleblower. They had Snapchat. So like this essentially could be in the works because of where the price is at. So
yeah.
Maybe good timing, especially knowing going into earnings. So that's good for them because they could announce it at earnings rather than if the stock was higher, waiting to see the reaction, then buying it later. So
yeah,
could bode well. Don Fron, bold prediction, maybe the crypto they have is a leader in the metaverse and won't be cheap long.
I agree.
I
think that's a good prediction.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to decide if that's bold or not. I'm not sure. Why is it blurry like that?
That's a good question. There we go.
Boom.
Yeah. Our camera was having issues.
Is it a good time to buy Facebook? All right, here's we do predictions and Tesla predictions. Don, I don't know if you heard, but I won last predictions. I actually won both of them. We said, what would Tesla open up the following day, which was Thursday, and what would it close the week out? I got that. We're going to run it back. So, Tesla, what does it open tomorrow? And guys, feel free to throw in your predictions.
Facebook, what does it open?
Sorry, Facebook. What does it open tomorrow?
Yeah.
And where does it close the week? That's the question that I have.
You want me to go first?
Yes, sir.
Facebook opens up at 3:37 tomorrow. Closes the day at 3:45, or closes the week at 3:45.
I got to write all these down so I keep track of them.
And
All
give
right.
us your predictions.
337.
Everybody in the chat. 3:37 opens up, and then 3:45 is what it closes at. End of the week.
337 and 345.
For my own selfish reasons. Yes.
Okay. Let me know when Don brings his up.
It's 240 of you guys hanging in here. We certainly appreciate you allowing us to be a part of your afternoon. If you guys have not been subscribed to the channel but want to see more content like this, we go live every day between 3:30 and whenever to give reactions on whatever's going on in the stock market every day. So if you guys want to see more of that, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified every time we go live. We also put all kinds of pre-recorded content as well on our investing strategies and that sort of thing. So if that'd be something you're interested in, make sure you do that too. Don says 343 they open up at and closes the week at 382.
Wow.
Woo!
43.
We got some people saying 356. It closes at 356 at the end of the week. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I hope some of you are right. I hope that. Somebody said 343. I think that's more reasonable. Stephen Jones says opens at 360 tomorrow. Holy shit, that would be crazy. I hope Don is right. You and me both. I hope Don's real right on that. But yeah, this looks great. So far, so good on Facebook. Again, beating earnings, missing on revenue, gave us shitty guidance, but then ends up coming out with a share buyback. Makes things all better. You guys are just tuning in.
Oh, you said 337. I wanted to take that one.
Yeah, 337. It opens up tomorrow. 3:30.
Oh, okay. Here's what I'm going to do.
What you got?
I think it's going to open red tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'm going to say 325. Actually, you know what? It's going to go down to the 200-day again. I think it's going to dip slightly below that. So I'm going to say 318. But I think it's going to come back, and I think 335 it closes the week at.
Closes the week at 335. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's gonna come charging back. So I'm not so optimistic about how it is, how things go tomorrow morning pre-market.
Yeah.
But like we said, we're still optimistic about the stock overall.
Either way, my calls are looking awesome. My 322 strike looking great.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy. Listen, I want it to stay green.
Yeah. Give it what you got?
Wait, does 330? Oh, I was just making sure somebody didn't say that. Who was balls deep in Facebook on Discord with me the other day?
I was like, well, I wouldn't say I was going crazy on it, but I took a chance on it on Friday.
Man, Swiss Man Vidal. I don't know how to pronounce your first name. I'm going to say Cow. Yeah. I think it's up because all the news is already priced in. For a big tech which keeps printing money, it's cheaply valued. Even if they're forced to split, it's good for shareholders. Well, I don't know if they would be forced to split. They could decide to split.
Yeah.
Splitting isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Facebook is continuing to climb here after hours. So if you guys missed the beginning, it sold off immediately on reaction to earnings missing revenue, but they beat on earnings per share.
Yes, sir.
Gave a poor outlook and then came out with that share buyback, and it's still climbing here after hours. Is now up 3%.
Hell yeah.
And it can keep going. It can keep going for all I care. Let's freaking go, baby. I'm loving this.
While we hang out for a little bit, tomorrow pre-market earnings, we have UPS, GE, 3M, Waste Management, JetBlue. Those are all pre-market, and I think that's Kroger. Is that Kroger or Hasbro? I think it's actually Hasbro. After hours, AMD, which will be live for tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. After hours, AMD, which I am excited about.
Yeah.
Microsoft, Alphabet, Visa, Twitter, Robinhood. I know some of you are in Texas Instruments. My God, tomorrow's going to be a great one.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good day. It's going to be a great week. I mean, we got so much going on. Later on in the week, we got Ford, we got Apple, we got Amazon, we got Shopify, we got so many other ones. that we're super excited for. So if you guys are interested and have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe and hit that button, and we certainly would appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up as well. We'll be back here tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time to give you our reactions to Facebook, how well we're doing on that. Victor, thanks for the super chat. Put $500,000 in this and only gave us a $2 donation.
I was thinking the same thing.
But hey, thanks. I wonder what the poor people are doing. But anyway, thanks for the donation. Nevertheless, we were just joshing with you. But thanks so much, and hit the thumbs up if you guys wouldn't mind on your way out the door as well. We'll be back here at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. It's going to be another great one.
And make sure you guys stick around for Wednesday. We're premiering a video, 3 stocks to buy for anyone under 25 years old.
Yes.
All right.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Hit that like, you lazy.